Hi everyone, today we have a new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from ICM. It's a 148 scale aircraft kit, and we get here the B-26B, but as you can see it's so-called Flak-Bait, and we have the whole edition dedicated to the 322nd Bombardment Group, so you can see one of the aircraft here on the box art, and we have this name on the nose art, and it's also depicted here, but obviously there should be more markings which we will see today in the video review, and the kit number is there in the corner, is 48321. The box size is not that huge, I would say it's typical for ICM aircraft kits, so here is comparison with my hand. The box art, as I said, is really nice. Here we also have some information about the kit, so it's written that we have 367 parts, and on the opposite side you can see also 4 marking options which are included here, but we will talk more about them when I will be opening the box. Now I need to open these plastic seals, and then I will be able to remove the top lid. In the meantime, I can also remind you that I was reviewing the previous B-26 releases as well, so in case you are interested in them, definitely check them out, because these were also quite interesting combinations of the markings and aircraft options. And of course there are some other aircraft models from the same brand available, so especially the helicopters, if you wanted to try, then it's definitely something worth checking. So the box structure here is, I would say, already classic for this brand. As you can see, that's the flexible top section, and then we have a very sturdy white cardboard box, so that's why you shouldn't be worried about any possible issues with the parts inside. And as you will notice, everything arrived to me intact as well, even though our post is very famous for their shipping quality. So just give me a second to open it, and I would like to start. Well, the sprues are divided into 2 plastic bags which are resealable. Here is the first one, so I will open it right now and we can take a closer look together. So just give me a moment. I can see there are several clear frames, but first let's start with this frame C, because here we have the parts for the wings. I will place it like this probably, and we can also zoom in a bit. Now we should be able to see what I'm talking about here. So each wing side should be assembled out of 2 hulls. The same can be said about the tail wings, and overall external features are pretty much standard for such aircraft kit. It means recessed panel lines and rivets are included, so do not be worried. It's I would say something what you expect from 148 scale kit. We also have these recessed slots for the engine gondolas. They will be assembled separately. And if I flip over the sprue here, you can notice the guiding pins which will help you with alignment of these large parts, because here is comparison with my hand. It's relatively big, and for 148 scale I would say it will take plenty of space, so definitely remember this, because it will be quite a fun experience to try to display it somewhere, and especially to try to move it to some exhibition in order to display it there. So here we continue with the second sprue. As you can see here, we get the large spars which will be at least providing at least some support for the main wing. We also have wing mechanization separately, and these are some interior parts. So it is noticeable that ICM decided not to skip on the interior, and we will get some elements, but if you would like to get even more sophisticated details, obviously the aftermarket got you back, but it will cost your money, so definitely think about it twice. Next, I'm already trying to break the next part. Why? Because here we have the pitot tube which is pre-molded with the wing part, so be careful with this. And it's even more tricky because usually I take the sprues with this central circle, so that's why I almost knocked it off. Also here you can see the engine gondolas. Each one should be assembled out of 2 hulls. We have the internal landing gear base as well, and the wing design is pretty much the same as what we saw on the opposite side. So there are no surprises, and I think it should be easy to deal with as long as you pay attention to how those parts fit together, then you should be alright. And what you can hear right now, I'm opening the next clear plastic bag, because here we have the clear plastic sprues. And what is really nice is that this sprue was wrapped into the foam, so not only packed separately, so it is also provided some extra protection in order to have all parts intact. As you can see, the molding quality is really beautiful, and I hope that we get also the masks template, because otherwise it's quite fun to cut all of these small rectangles and trying to mask them. So it's always handy to get some template which will speed up the process and also focus your attention on a bit more important stuff. Here I'm showing the second clear plastic sprue, pretty much the same molding quality. Those parts will be used for today's version, I guess. So that's why they were provided in the separate plastic bag. And now we continue with the another plastic bag. So here it is. It's also resealable. So I'm going to open it right now. Just give me a moment. Okay. So it's open. And first of all, we have the frame A. So here you can see the fuselage halves, and maybe I will zoom out so that you can see what I'm talking about in this case. So these are two large fuselage halves, and when I'm saying large, here you can see comparison with my hand, so they are big for 1/48 scale. Keep this in mind, as I already said, and definitely try to find a space which will be suitable for such giant build. And it's also something to consider on how to paint this model. But if I flip over these parts, here you can see that we also have some minor cockpit or interior details. And this is valuable because it will be visible also through the canopy, through the tail landing gear, and also through the bomb bay. So it's quite handy design. And of course we get the guiding pins which will help you with alignment, so this is also something not to worry about. Next we continue with the sprue D. Here we get the engine parts, and also the one-piece frontal cowling, which is really cool. Landing gear wheels, one-piece propeller here. And for the engine, you get actually the both engines, as you can see on the second sprue. So it's a good idea to try to expose one of them, especially considering the fact that we get the one-piece cowling. So it should be easy to make it removable just by not gluing it into place. But that's already your decision whether you would like to go this way. Maybe you're right with what is visible through the cowling installed in place. And next we have the sprue G. Here are mostly the interior parts, meaning for the fighting compartment and also for the cockpit. So I can zoom in, and now you can see what I'm talking about. So a lot of thin and small parts, even though this is a 1/48 scale, so do not underestimate it. Here you can see a comparison with my fingertip. They are really tiny parts, and that's why you should be maybe getting some tweezers in order to install them into the place, because with bare fingers it might be a tricky thing to do. But that's not all. Next we have also this sprue, which is the last one, but we get here the interior or cockpit instrument panel, and we also get the landing gear legs. So everything looks quite nice, and I have to say that landing gear legs are also good, but I would recommend to find a metal replacement, because the model will be quite heavy for its size. So definitely a good idea to get something what will be able to support the extra weight of such build. And if we are going into decals, I've just removed them out of the assembly manual, and it's not that big decal sheet as you can see, but we get all of the necessary symbols here. We also get the dials for the instrument panel, but unfortunately no seat belts. So in case you would like to get the seat belts for both seats, you will have to buy them separately from the aftermarket brands, obviously. And next we have the assembly manual. So this one is printed as the color brochure. I'm closing the lenses so that you can see all of the pages. And as you can see on the first page we have the short history note and technical specifications. Then we continue with the parts map. And here we have the red color showing which parts will not be used. As you can see, there are a few of those. And assembly process starts with the fuselage half. I am just looking that you have to drill a lot of holes at the same time, so pay attention and how they are drilled there. Then we continue with the cockpit, which is assembled separately and then just inserted inside. The same can be said about this bomb compartment. And next, opposite fuselage half, pretty much the same sequence of actions. You have to drill some holes as well. And then here you can see the joining process. Do not forget about this nose weight, so it's 50 grams, which is quite impressive amount of the weight to be put inside the model, but otherwise you will get the tail seater, so that's why it is important. Next we continue with the minor parts being installed for the bomb bay. As far as I remember, you can assemble it in open or closed position, so this is already your decision. And next we also can see here these large spars, which will be actually helping to support the wings, but again, it might be a good idea also to get some metal rod inserted in between the fuselage halves so that it will add extra support as well. Here we continue with an engine, and basically you have to repeat this twice. And then we install the engine on the gondolas, and gondolas are joined with the wing. Maybe I would alter the sequence and first join the gondolas with the wing and then install the engine, but that's already up to you. And even the landing gear legs will have to get the separate parts, which is quite interesting. And here we continue with installing them into the wheelbase, installing the landing gear doors. And here you can see also the masks and plate, which is really cool because, as I said, otherwise it would be a bit tedious procedure. As you can see, a lot of masks to apply here and there. The first marking option, just like on the box art. Here we continue with the second and third. So I think it's the same aircraft, right? It's just the same aircraft depicted during the different stages of the invasion, which is quite interesting because here you can see another stage of the marking on this airplane. So quite interesting choice, and of course it should be already available in Modelimex, so if you would like to get one in your collection, you know where to go, and I will be happy to hear your opinion, so do not forget to write it here in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.